24 things that 2024 taught me. If there's faith, there can't be doubt. Embrace what's uncomfortable. Because authenticity brings confidence. Hello, and welcome back to Loudly Proudly Lebo. Today, 2024 is concluding itself, which is crazy because I could have sworn that 2024 started just now. But as 2024 is coming to an end and we're getting into 2025, it is so important to reflect over the year. So today I'm basically gonna be telling you guys 24 things that 2024 taught me. And also, if you're thinking you're too young to be learning life lessons, you're never too young to learn anything. Even when you're a baby, a life lesson you learn is to share things with other people. You take that along with you throughout your life. Literally 2024 has been such a year, and it's been drastic changes, and I feel like with change comes a lot of lessons to learn. First thing that I learned in 2024 is that all it takes is faith as small as a mustard seed. You probably know that verse from the Bible. For me, this is just crazy because I feel like this year I had a lot of trouble trusting that things will get better, because when you tend to focus on the negative things, it's so easy to not believe that things could possibly get better. In your head, you're like, yes, things will get better, but you don't know the how. A mustard seed is so small, guys. It's so small. And I feel like faith as small as a mustard seed is when you decide to just push aside all the doubts, push aside all the worries, and just have the smallest amount of hope. But as soon as you have that little hope, that little faith, then all the doubt goes away. You can't even think about the doubt, because if there's faith, there can't be doubt. When you are faithful, you will see that things will actually happen. The second thing I learned is that you should be authentic in everything you do. Like I said, there's a lot of change this year. So I went to in-person school, back to in-person school. And the change was... It was definitely quite the change. And I feel like the reason why I felt like I was losing myself is because I felt like I couldn't be myself at school. It felt like who I was not appreciated. And I know that as you go to places, as you meet new people, especially as you grow older, sometimes your personality or who you are might not always be appreciated by those around you. But never, ever, ever apologize for being yourself. Never feel like you can't be yourself just because you feel like people won't appreciate it. That should never be a reason to stop being your authentic self. Authentic means to be true to everything you do. Be true in everything you do. Because when you're true in everything you do, at least you know if someone did not appreciate what you did, at least you appreciated what you did. Because most of the time, if people don't appreciate who you are, it's because they can see you have a bigger personality. They can see that you're confident, because authenticity brings confidence. Do you hear me? Authenticity is what makes you unique. If you're just gonna want to be the same as everyone, you're not being authentic. If you want to do things the same way everyone else does it, you're not being authentic, and then you're just gonna blend in with everyone. And that's why authentic people always stand out. The third thing is, don't let the world confuse you. Now that I'm talking about this, I'm realizing that there's actually a lot of points. 24 is a lot. Anyways, don't let the world confuse you. So where this is coming from for me is that with going back to in-person school, there were many things that I had to adjust to, in the sense that I was not used to the type of people I was being exposed to. And there's so many different people, so many different opinions. There's a lot going on in the world. When you put too much focus on all those things, then you're gonna lose yourself, because you're letting the world confuse you. Do not be caught up in what people are doing, because now you're gonna confuse yourself. Because the one thing I miss is when I just knew what I wanted to do, because now there's so many opinions. It's no, do this. It's overwhelming. That's the world just speaking things into you. And what I'm saying is don't let other people's opinions sway you away from your perspective. Do you see what I'm saying? The fourth thing I learned is, don't seek validation from others. Let me tell you, when you are in a new environment, new changes, there's gonna be a lot of seeking validation, especially if you don't feel appreciated. But the thing is, in life, you can never really win when it comes to validation, especially when you seek it from others. You cannot base your self-worth off of how other people think about you. You cannot always rely on other people to make you feel secure. If you don't feel validated, you obviously feel a bit insecure about something. You don't feel appreciated. Like I said, you'll talk and no one listens. You don't feel validated. You should not root yourself in validation, because validation is not a steady foundation and validation is not constant. Because also, Why are you seeking validation from people who barely even know you? Like, you know yourself the best, and now you want to base your worth off of their validation of you when they don't even know you like that. The fifth thing I learned is embrace what's uncomfortable. Staying in a place where you're comfortable does not encourage growth. You can even see this in school, for example. If you are comfortable with the current topic you're on, don't stay in it. Now further your understanding of the topic. In life, you need challenges. You need to challenge yourself, and you can't challenge yourself if you're too comfortable. You need to get used to the challenges. You need to get used to what's uncomfortable. So how did I learn this in 2024? I learned this in, for example, with my YouTube channel. I had to get out of my comfort zone in sharing my YouTube channel, like on my social medias and to my friends, because that wasn't comfortable for me, because I was afraid that they would judge me for sharing my YouTube channel. So I was a bit hesitant about that, and I felt comfortable just keeping it to myself. But what did I do? I stepped out of that comfort zone. I embraced doing what's comfortable because I knew that it would produce even better things. And the thing is, when you're in your comfort zone, you're in your comfort zone because you're afraid of what will happen when you get out of your comfort zone. And for me, embracing what was uncomfortable and sharing my YouTube channel with my friends actually had a more positive result than I thought it would have. And it was because I was just in my own head. So embrace what's uncomfortable. Number 6 is forgive people even if they don't say sorry. Let me tell you, this year there was a lot of I felt hurt many times. You don't always have to wait for people to say sorry to forgive them. And when I say forgive someone, it doesn't mean that now you have to be friends with them again, or you have to like spend time with them all the time. But I'm just saying, let go of that grudge. Let go of that ugly feeling you have towards them because they did something to you. Let go of it, because it's only going to weigh down with you. Number 7 is cater your attention to people who care. You know what's the thing about growing up? The thing about growing up, like I said, you want to feel validated and you want to feel appreciated and you want to fit in. You want to be known. You start to cater your attention to the known people or the people you think are cool. You start to cater your attention to them so that they can cater their attention back to you. But that's not always how it's going to work. Now, this is when you start to feel insecure. This is when you start to feel like, oh, but no one's hearing me. Oh, but no one's appreciating me. But then you forget about the people who actually care. You forget about your friends who give attention to you. We tend to focus on, oh, we don't feel appreciated, rather than who is appreciating us. And then we start to not appreciate those people who are appreciating us. And that's not fair. How can we treat our friends who care about us in a way that doesn't make us feel appreciated? But we're the ones who are complaining about not feeling appreciated. Which is why I'm saying, cater your attention to people who care. Number 8 is don't make social media your Bible. In this generation, we spend so much more time on social media than we do reading our Bible. And I am a victim of this too. You start to use social media as your guide as to how you should live your life. You see other people's lives, you see the way people are doing things, and you start to take that and implement it in your own life because that's what you see. Then you're like, let me follow this person's way and make it my way. And that's not the way we should be following. The way we should be following is Jesus' way. So don't make social media your Bible. Number 9, do things what makes you feel good and do things that make you feel confident. I feel like this year, it was all about how I looked to other people. Then you start to do things so that you can appear like, I don't know, pretty to other people, for example, if people keep telling me you're ugly. And that's not the case. Like, at the end of the day, you should do what makes you feel good. What genuinely makes you feel good. Less time there, more time self-care. Number 11 is do things in advance. In advance. When they say do things in advance, that does not only apply to school assignments. Doing things in advance applies to everything. What I learned, if I need to be ready at 8, like, let me be ready like 30 minutes before, rather. I get so comfortable in time, but time moves. Time moves way too fast for you to be sitting around thinking that you have it. Do things when you get the opportunity to do it. And when you do things in advance, it kills procrastination because you need to do it in advance. Number 12 is don't chase the world because it will never satisfy. This year, I was trying to chase so many people's opinions. You know, there's this one movie verse that I actually really like. Okay, I can't really remember what it said, but it's when you drink from the cup of the world, something like that, you will be thirsty again. But when you drink from my cup, you'll never be thirsty again, for it quenches all thirst. There's so many things that we think that we will finally feel fully satisfied once we have. But the thing is, as humans, we'll never feel satisfied by the things of this world, which is why you must stop chasing it and start chasing God's word. Start chasing God, because that is the only cup you can drink that will fully quench your thirst. Number 13 is never change yourself for anyone else. I feel like this kind of goes with everything else I've been saying, but specifically with this one, never change yourself for anyone else, because people's opinions can always change. And when you change yourself for one person, then that other person is going to think something else. Then you're going to change yourself for that person, then this person is going to think something else. Do you see what the pattern is? You cannot make everyone happy. So why change yourself for someone else when you know that you can never make anyone happy except yourself? So don't change yourself for someone else. If you want to change, do it for you, do it for God. Number 14 is don't worry how other people perceive you. Just understand and know who you are. This year I focused so much on how people were viewing me, on how people were seeing me. But the thing is, perspective is such a beautiful thing, because every single person is going to perceive you differently. And the thing is, people will only see what you allow them to see. And that is what they're basing their perception of you off. And they don't even know every single thing about you. Then why do you worry so much about their perception of you? Number 15, damn, this one really hit hard. I learned that not everyone is nice. Like I said, I was surrounded by many nice people last year. But the changes, like I said, were abrupt. And I was just realizing that there's judgmental people out there. There's people who aren't nice out there. And at first it was hard to grasp and accept. And I didn't know how to work around that thing of not everyone is nice. But really, you can't control how people are. You just have to not let it get to you. Number 16, this goes to number 15. Pray for those who are judgmental towards you. I learned this because, like I said, not everyone is nice. And obviously I felt judged. As soon as I started praying for these people, you realize that they actually start to change. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. I genuinely feel like they started being nice to people. And maybe you won't see the changes immediately, but at least you know that you are praying for them. Number 17 is stop thinking like an insecure person. Wait, sorry, I just remembered this quote. It's a thought turns into words turn into an action, actions turn into a habits turn into a lifestyle turns into your destiny, something like that. I'm sure I missed many. I'll put the quote up here if I can find it. But basically everything starts with a thought, and you don't want to reap insecurity. So stop thinking like an insecure person. Talk to yourself like your best friend. You wouldn't tell your best friend the things that you're telling yourself. Number 18 is don't be okay with being mediocre. For me, how I learned this year is because I was also surrounded by many people who were just okay with just being. And in some context this is okay, but in the context I'm saying it with is that there's no drive for something higher. There's no drive for a bigger purpose. If God wakes you up every day, it means that he's woken you up for a reason, not to just be mid, not to just be mediocre or average. Now number 20 is that you need to pray about everything, because God answers prayers. And I'm telling you, I learned this so much this year, because literally I am living proof that prayers have been answered, honestly, because prayer life is such a firm foundation. But I'm just saying, pray about everything, because prayer works. I literally even said with the judgmental people, look at me like I'm crazy, it's fine. Number 20 is perspective changes everything. Sometimes you just need to change your perspective, as in change your mindset, and you'll realize that things are actually really good. Sometimes you may be feeling really ungrateful. You may be feeling like everything sucks. As soon as you stop with that negative perspective and change it to a positive perspective, things will change. You'll realize way more blessings in your life come. And it's not that all of a sudden you're getting more blessings, but it's just that before you weren't seeing them because of your perspective then. Number 21 is lead with gratitude. I learned this because so much we tend to focus on what we don't have rather than what we do have. As soon as you start to lead with gratitude, you will feel more fulfilled. You'll feel like there's way more blessings in your life because you're focusing more on what you do have rather than what you don't have. Number 22 is that you have so much control in your life, a little too much control. This I really learned because, like I said, I became the procrastinating, but then I realized that I'm literally the one doing this. It's free will. I have the control to either change this or to either stick with this routine and not change my procrastinating. You have so much control with your mindset, with your perspective. You have so much control to pray for others and acknowledge that you have that control and use it to change your life. Number 23 is communication is key in friendships. I learned this year because I really realized that as my friends and I started to talk about like what we did not appreciate in the friendships, as soon as you start to normalize that, then the friendship flows much better and there's way less bitterness in friendships and way less like you don't feel appreciated in the friendship. And now you start to reciprocate things back to each other because there's communication. And then the last thing I learned is that what God has prepared for you is beyond anything you can ever imagine. I've learned so many things, and I just know that God has so much more planned for me, so much more that I'm going to learn. I don't know, I was thinking about this in science when we were learning about the galaxy, and I was realizing how big the Milky Way, just the Milky Way is, and how there's over like 1 trillion galaxies and a whole universe. And the fact that God is bigger than all of that, I don't know, for me that's like a lot to comprehend. And if God is that big, and if God wakes you up every single day, if you're even watching this video to the end, imagine how much more God has planned for you. He is not woken you up every single day just for a small little plan. So just trust in God's plan, especially for 2025. Trust in his plan, make the right choices, ask him for the wisdom to make the right choices, because there's just so much. There's like the future is looking great. So I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who has tapped into this video, everyone who has subscribed to my channel this year, for all the growth. I really think this was such a good year, and I just hope that your guys' 2025 will be filled with blessings and that you also had a great 2024. And I also hope that you guys learned amazing things in 2024, and I hope that these things that I've learned in 2024 will be able to impact you guys, and that you've also learned something from this video. And with that all said, I'll see you guys next year. Bye.